All right. Hey, it's Wednesday again. It is. Charles Green, Neil Daly. What's happening?
What's happening, guys? Good to
Good to
see
see you
everybody.
guys.
Tony, I'm
Yeah,
happy that you're going live considering Duke's playing right now. So,
I know. I know.
That's a nervy move, bro.
No
Woo.
worries.
Yeah, man.
I have to think twice about who even the coach is now, but um, yeah. How you guys doing?
Doing real good, man. Busy. It's getting cold and wet. Rained all
I
day.
oh,
know, my
God.
Rained all friggin'
goodness.
day.
Yeah.
I know.
Quite
It is.
literally.
It's at November 30th, 2022. This is Halenville Live. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Um, we got a special guest too.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. So Neil, how's it been going, dude? Good to see you, man.
Thanks. It's going well. Like Charles said, I'm busy, incredibly busy in a good way, and I'll never complain about work coming in and things. But some interesting things have happened. The last couple of weeks, last week I kind of alluded to it when I just jumped in live from the paint booth, so to speak. But I've gotten an interesting kind of an influx of new orders for guitar builds and paint jobs, and they're coming from an unlikely source. For those of you that have been paying attention in the Facebook chats, in the groups, the 5150 guitar groups, things like that, one of our friends of the show, Chris Hubbard, who is a well-known, well-respected artist of the 5150 guitar, has
And a killer musician, guys.
yeah,
Holy crap,
yeah.
dude.
And has a badass DeLorean from Back to the Future too. Let's not sleep on that. Um, but he has stopped taking orders, and has been basically refunding people's money. And he's just, there's a lot. There's probably I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say there's probably about 20 people that are in the groups that have been struggling to reconcile with this. They don't know when they're going to get their stuff back. They don't know if they're
Mm,
going to get their money back. They don't know what happened, but some of them have been waiting for over 12 months
mm.
and things like that. um, the reason I bring that up is and whatever's going on in Chris Hubbard's life, I wish you nothing but the best, bro. You've been good to us, good to me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I wish
Oh,
you
yeah.
nothing but the best. But
Absolutely.
so my name had been tossed into the mix to kind of resolve some of these issues for a lot of people. And
Mm.
I've had no less than 6 people in the last 3 weeks now that have contacted me directly and said, "Hey, would you be interested in finishing the job? If I can get my stuff back from Hubbard, who's been sitting on it for a year, would you be interested in finishing it?" And I said, "Absolutely, absolutely. I don't want anybody to have a negative experience or have this kind of taint their feeling of Van Halen or the guitar or 5150 or Eddie or anything because of their experience waiting for a guitar that was just never done."
Mm,
So
mm,
I've
mm.
had, Hubbard has been gracious enough to actually forward people's materials directly to me.
Very
And so
cool.
we've
Very
worked
cool.
something out. So it's actually, oh no, somebody just said Hubbard sold his DeLorean. Oh God. Yeah. That's depressing. Anyway, long story short, without rambling, I've had 6 people contact me and say that they're gonna send me their stuff. So I'm gonna be basically, these people have sourced every part that they need. So I'm gonna be basically do the paint job and the assembly in true Chris Hubbard fashion. The very very relic 5150 that we all know and
Hmm.
love.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be finishing jobs for them and cranking those out as quickly as possible. Hopefully, get some people their stuff by the holidays.
Dude, relicking is your gift, bro. I mean, that's really like really. I mean, somebody's getting a relic guitar. They're
Well,
fortunate. They're fortunate because you're really good at doing those. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's
you are.
it's honestly, it's very humbling and flattering when my name gets thrown into groups, when people start contacting me that I don't know,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Oh, I heard about you from somebody."
Yeah.
And that person is somebody I don't know, but they heard about me from somebody else. It's really, it's humbling and it's flattering when all these people are like, "We've seen your work." It's
Word of
whatever. If you
mouth
need,
is the best
yeah,
way.
word of mouth is huge. It's huge, and I cherish that more
That's
than anything.
massive, dude. It's massive.
So
really?
What do you mean? And they're like, well, and because I'm not gonna speak poorly of EVH. I have nothing negative to say about that company. But they
absolutely,
they had brought to my attention that they were unhappy with the relicking, the stripes. They felt it was somewhat inaccurate, and they were interested.
And it looks a bit mechanical. It does not. I swear to God, I'll go on record saying this right now, and I know this is a fact. It lacks sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, when they want to do it good, they do it really good.
No, I know.
But it lacks a certain softness and a true essence. It looks more like it's like it looks mechanical. I don't know any other way to describe it, bro.
Yeah, well, that's basically what's been told to me. And so one person is in the process of shipping me their guitar.
Wow.
One person shipped me their guitar a week ago, and I took it apart. I've taken pictures of the before, obviously, and we've all seen. But then here is this is the finished my version of it.
That's sharp, bro.
Relic the inside, got the light's glaring on it right now. It should be glaring because it doesn't have a gloss coat on it.
Oh, let me see that heel. Let me see the butt in here. Let me see. Oh, dude, see, that is what you call classic Neil Daly road rash, bro.
Yeah,
that is just awesome.
And what I did for the first time, and I'm not sure if this. I apologize if this particular live feed doesn't do justice to it, but I did something interesting from having our conversations with Johnny B Guitars, who is, I loved every time we have him on the show. And we talked, we did a whole show on the paint of the Frankenstrat. And he went all the way back to the source and found out that the Schwinn bicycle paint was this translucent clear that the red went on, and that made it look pink in hue underneath some of the spots. And the more I absorbed that conversation, the more I talked about it. And the one problem that everybody has, if you go in the Frankenstrat groups, people always talk about the fact that they just can't figure out a way to get the pink showing underneath. And I myself have tried many times with just sanding down the red so you can see a little bit of white. And it's close, but it doesn't have the same kind of almost vibrant neon pink hue that the pictures live at the Met when the Frankie was on display show. So
let me ask you a quick question. A quick question.
Sure.
Are you using an abrasive sandpaper, or are you using like a pad of some sort to be more subtle and make it more of a wear? Because the real relicking is an abrasive. It's from the heat. It's his arm and hand and finger hitting it.
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to answer that question because when it comes to the relicking stuff, that's my jam.
I got you, baby. I'm sorry, man.
Sorry. No. I appreciate that. But anyway, going back to the source. So the point of the question, what I want to point out is I tried something new where I actually found the right kind of pink paint. And if I can show my phone real quick, I actually splashed a bit of pink on the back before. Let's see. Let me get. Here, let's see if you can see this. Let me angle it. Hold on.
Almost.
I'm trying
to lean forward. Give it a lean. Oh,
there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
So I splashed some pink on the back on the white before I did red. Then I threw the red on the guitar and then came back to it and sanded and smoothed and did some work on it. And there are spots that are noticeably
right where your finger's right there.
Yeah. And then it goes up here a little bit, and then there's a little bit right under here and things like that. And I've compared this to pictures from the Met exhibit. And I gotta be honest, at the risk of tooting my own horn, and I apologize if this sounds arrogant, but my work is getting better. My work's getting better. This is
nice.
this is now going to be the way I do it for all of them. And this is slightly more accurate. Now, 99% of the people out there would never notice this. These are the things that guitar builders like myself obsess over.
Yeah.
And we go nuts over this stuff. But
Dude.
I figure you guys would appreciate that. And this is really, I'm excited about this one because this was an actual EVH, Frankie, that I have now basically given this guy what he really wanted.
Dude,
So,
he's going to be a happy
Right
on, bro.
dude.
Hey, we got to recognize the chat, Neil.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
Yeah,
You're right.
No, dude. This is Halenville, baby.
So you want to do roll call tonight, Charles? I hadn't
will,
opened
Tony.
up my chat. Let's
Absolutely.
open it on up.
First of all, we got Susan Pasculi. Welcome to Halenville,
Hey,
Susan. It's good to see you again, Susan.
Hey,
How are you, Doc?
Susan.
Keith Campbell, brother, how are you, man? It's good to
Right
see you,
on.
bro. We got concerts in our future, me, you, and Tony. Holly Lewis, we love you, sweetheart. It's good to see
Holly.
you. Ryan Hall, right on, brother. It's good to see
Thanks.
you, Ryan. Ryan's awesome. Christopher, so I was just eyeing the chat up and down a minute ago, and I happened to notice that Christopher Sauer is absolutely freezing his butt off. I just want to point that out. That's the one thing I got from the chat. Brutally cold, my bro. Holy moly, man.
Chris, it's that way in here, Chicago, too. It's
Dude,
the
that's
exact same.
crazy. Sandra's holding down the fort in the background. It's good to see you, Sandra.
Yep.
Okay, I'm scrolling up, you guys. Scrolling. Nightbot in the house. R2, R3. It's good to see you, bro.
Hey,
right
bud.
on,
How
my
are you,
man. Dan from New Jersey. Right there, bro. Right on. Adam Roach.
Hey, there's my man.
What's up, bro? Right on. Hey, we got Tim Thomas. Good to see you, Tim.
Hey, real
Right
quick,
on,
Adam, while we're talking about the chat, Adam, I got some new updates from his book. You know, he sent me some new pages and stuff, and I scrolled through them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is putting in, dude. If you guys haven't checked out Adam's book,
You
or
know what?
his ever evolving book,
You know what's so cool about that book?
masterful.
Just to take a quick, brief second so we don't forget. The book is getting thicker. It's getting thicker. It's not getting longer. It's getting thicker, and you just every time you go in, more and more information, and it's chronologically in order. It's really cool, Adam.
Yeah, that book looks nothing like it did.
Nothing. You're right.
A
Tony.
sec, you know. I mean, if you
he's-
blink, if you let a week go by, really. I mean, he's built that thing up already, and will continue to do so.
Yeah. And
We
I'm
got
surprised he had the
80+.
time. I'm surprised he had the time to do that, considering he's sitting on a beach in Fiji right now, sipping
Dude.
Mai Tais.
I have to live my life vicariously through him to enjoy his vacation. That's how much work I do, Adam. Hey, it's good to see you, bro. What do we got here? We got Andy Carson in the house.
Hey, man.
Station 5, Chattanooga. It's good to see you, man. Andy, you rock.
Andy, good to see you, dude. Send me a pic, brother.
You know what I saw? I saw Sandra sporting a really nice Station 5 t-shirt that he sent her. Very cool, man. That was a great pic of Sandra. Let's see. We're scrolling up, you guys. All right. Hey, Papa Blue. Right on, bro. It's good to see you, man.
There she is. She's wearing it.
Look at that. Look at that.
Right on.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Thank you for the gratuitous boob shot.
Very cool. Very cool.
Nice.
Let me see what else we got here. Hey, who else is there? That looks to me about it. Let me go back down to the bottom.
Anybody new pop in?
These guys been blowing up the chat, you guys.
It's nice to see you guys, man. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week's going good. Yeah, nice to see you guys. We're going to do, later on, we're going to do some, let's find it. Nearly impossible VanHalen trivia. Yeah, like this card nearly covers us.
Guitar Man 45 in the house.
It's good to see you, Guitar Man. Right on, bro.
We're going to play tonight. We're going to play for a green
I saw that on
Aftershow
Facebook.
pass from Balance.
That is
green
awesome.
one tonight. That's what we're playing
Very
for.
cool.
And a very hard question. I don't think I've shown these two guys the
I didn't see
question
it.
yet. But it may
You,
very
you did show
well.
me. You showed me, Tony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when we were
It
talking
very
before this.
well may be ungettable.
Well, what I did, it's funny, guys, because I was talking with Tony and I said, Tony, your questions have been so great lately, I told him, because they have been. His questions are freaking epic. I said, but it's time to get these guys. I want you to step it up and bring it. And he goes, that's what I'm going to do. And I swear to God, he's doing it. So you guys better be on your P's and Q's, guys. And good luck. That's what I'm going to say, man. Good luck. Very cool. Hey, just a quick shout out. We haven't talked. I guess Christy McVie, passed away. I just want to just a quick moment to shout out to it. What a just epic lady, awesome, just awesome lady, talent, always a class act. I was a big Fleetwood Mac fan. I've always been a big Fleetwood Mac fan.
Yeah.
Charles, tell us. You were just starting to tell me stories in the green room before, and I'd tell it to the chat.
I was making a statement about how gracious she was. She's a gracious, elegant lady, and she's from England, right? And she's. I was fortunate enough in 1980. One of the first things I ever did when I started working for Mario was we were at the Roxy one day and Dave Mason was having a birthday party. I've made reference to it a few times, but it was a big deal. The place was packed. It was an extra special birthday for him. The celebrity list was flipping ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And it was Limousine City. And so I was making a comment to Neil about how gracious this lady was and how fortunate I was because I got to see her exit and enter a limousine half a dozen or more times over the course of a couple of years through specific events that I got to see and concerts at like the Forum in LA. And so that's what we're talking about. So when I heard she passed away, just like everyone else who's a fan, it sucks. I hate it. And I feel for her family and it,
hey, Robert,
I believe she was like,
hey, Robert Ranford. Good to see you.
Robert, it's good to see you, brother. Welcome, bro. It's good to see you, man. I think she was 79. I hadn't heard anything about any health issues or anything of that nature, but it was a shock, and it saddens me, just like it saddens you guys. Yeah. But Fleetwood Mac, Christy McVie.
What's funny? I find it strangely. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is ironic. Is the right word? That might not be the right word. But the Fleetwood Mac song, I Want to Be With You Anywhere, is getting mad play in the car commercials right now. It's like an electric car commercial and it's in all the time, but it's one of the Christine McVie songs. It's one of the, Christine songs. And it's interesting that song would be making the rounds for the last 3 months. That's been getting crazy airplay. Yeah. And a lot of people in my generation, at least, didn't know that Christine McVie was a singer in the group. Most people think of Lindsay and Stevie, and that's it.
She wrote some of their absolute best songs.
I know. So it's cool that it's cool that she got that kind of recognition. One of her major hits, great song, is getting radio play in a commercial. Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we lost it.
Holly Lewis mentioned Songbird. Yeah, that's one of her most iconic hits. Yeah. I love that song. Yeah. I'm a heavy metal kid. I like hard rock, but something about Fleetwood Mac, they weren't so super heavy. They really weren't. They were more of a folk rock band back in the early 70s, right?
Yeah, well, they were a progressive band before Lindsey Buckingham joined. They were like a prog band. But they kind of introduced what and Charles, you and I know this, that sort of California cool sound, which came in the 70s, which was, it was, I guess nowadays people call it soft rock, but it was a certain California kind of sound that came out of like the Mulholland, Laurel. When I
think of the Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah.
It's like my classic California. That's the sound. Yeah. Not so much the Beach Boys because they were so commercialized.
Yes. Yeah.
But when you're like 9, 10, 11, 12, you don't realize you're commercialized. That's just what you're used to. And that's good music when you're 9, 10, 11, 12. It was the greatest. But once I discovered once my brother showed me, because that's how it works, you know. I just
Yeah.
handed down, right?
Right.
Once he showed me the Rolling Stones, man, shoot, it was all over. It was
Yeah.
over at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't think it's a secret to anybody that I was named after Neil Young, my dad's favorite musician of all
Very
time.
cool. Very
So,
cool.
but my dad so in my childhood, the music in the household, because we always had a stereo on, not a TV. We were one of the houses that, like, if you walked into our house, you'd hear music, not the TV playing. But
Yeah.
it was that whole Laurel Canyon folk singer sound. You know, it was Tom Petty, Fleetwood Mac. You know, a lot of Janis, not Janis, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young. You know, those kind of the
Yeah.
hippie rock kind of
Yeah.
thing like that. And
Yeah.
so, of
Yeah.
course, what's
Yeah.
funny is, and you guys all know this because every teenager does this. Once I got to the age where I could start playing guitar, I rejected everything my father listened to because that wasn't cool. You know, you can't like the same music your dad does. No way. You're a kid. So I gravitated to everybody that was on MTV. And then, of course, I get into hard rock and glam rock and metal and all these other things. But somewhere in my DNA, all those songwriters planted their seeds in me. And I didn't even realize it at the time because I just remember I was like, oh, I hated everything my dad listened to.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden there comes a point when I'm playing live shows and somebody says like, hey, do you know this song by Springsteen or something like that? And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that song. And I knew all the words to all these things. And it's like, where did this come from? And it's that funny thing.
That's
Fleetwood Mac is another example. Like there are just, regardless of how hard I tried to reject it as a teenager in the 80s, because I was like, oh, you know, that's not cool. I can't like the stuff my dad likes. All those stuff, those songs are great songs. You know, great songs.
It's all in the way it's delivered, you know.
Yeah.
I was standing between you know what I'm talking about, between the Roxy and the Rainbow Club. It's just a driveway essentially. And if you open the side door to the Roxy and you're standing there and the sun's just right, you can look directly in, you can see the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And one afternoon, warming up for that Dave Mason, I saw Mick Fleetwood sitting in his drum kit. And I was a hard rock, heavy metal kid. I was listening to shit like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden at this time, UFO.
Right.
And I'm watching Mick Fleetwood just impress the heck out of me, man. I mean, one of the most accomplished drummers I had seen to that date. I was astonished at how rock he was. And Fleetwood Mac was not mellow. They can get mellow. They can be just as mellow and sweet as they want, but they get down, dude. They get down really hard. Got to see her do a show. I can't remember who she was with. Christy.
Yeah.
And God, I don't want to get it wrong. See, it wasn't I was earlier when we were talking about this, and I was talking about seeing her at shows. I mean, I paused because I saw them a couple of times at the Forum, and I saw the shows that they did in the clubs. But there was another venue, and I was going to say the Santa Monica Civic, but it was not, and it wasn't the Palace Theater. It was somewhere else. It wasn't the Wiltern, but she did a show, and it was like a tribute show. She showed up, and there were some other people there. And it was like a media event, and it was in around 1983, I believe it was. I was still working for West, and I did West at that show. I wasn't in the club at that time.
Right.
And she showed her talent. She showed her talent at that show because she wasn't with Fleetwood Mac. She was sitting at a piano singing.
Yeah.
And her voice was, in those days, it was perfect. It was absolutely
Yeah.
So that's really my most fond memory of her.
Yeah. I'll tell real quick. This is kind of a funny, like, it's not necessarily Christine McVie related, but it's a Fleetwood Mac reference. So during the pandemic, in the early days of the pandemic in 2020, a lot of people, I hang out with a bunch of other musicians, and we were all kind of challenging ourselves to do a quarantine cover challenge. That was like the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody would post like their version of a song, and we would do all these cover songs. And I was never, I liked playing my original tunes, trying to showcase those more, but it was really interesting. And so I thought, and Charles, you know how Halloween I am. I've got a whole closet dedicated to Halloween.
You're the king.
So So I'm the king of Halloween.
You're the king.
So I took it upon myself then to say, okay, if I'm going to do a cover song, I'm going to do full blown tribute of that artist, and I'm going to get the wigs out, I'm going to get the jackets, I'm going to get the looks and all this stuff, and kind of like this show that people are watching right now, I split screened the video, and one of the first ones I did that I was challenged to do was Secondhand News by Fleetwood Mac off of Rumors.
Oh, cool.
And
that's a really good song too.
It's a really good song, and I just for shits and giggles that night, I mean, I did like one of my characters was Bret Michaels from Poison.
Okay.
One of them was Dee Dee Ramone. One of them
was
like,
dude, I bet you're Dee Dee Rock, bro.
It was fun. Like I did 5 characters, all completely like 80s metal, doing a Fleetwood Mac song, which is awesome. What I thought was funny. But the reason I bring it up is because that was the first time I ever like broke down that song with the intent on listening to it to record it and play the instruments and sing the harmony parts. Yeah. And that was one of the first times, because a lot of times you listen to Fleetwood Mac and you hear it and you don't necessarily absorb it. You just like, wow, that's catchy. That's great. That's awesome. That was the first time that I actually broke down their vocals and was like, wow, these guys are so talented. Mm-hmm. They are such talented singers. And I'm even talking about like all 5 of them, I've seen their setups before when Mick Fleetwood will have a mic stand by him and stuff like that. Like all 5 sing. Yeah. And man, once you really like, if you're trying to cover a Fleetwood Mac song, and so you break it down and go like, okay, that's Lindsay's line, that's Stevie's line, that's Christine's line. They are really good. They are so much better than, yeah. It made me think like, wow, that's a tough band to do justice to.
Yeah. Tony was going to make an announcement, I believe.
Yeah.
About our guest.
So we are still waiting on Simon as we speak. We'll bring him in when he arrives.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah. But let me mention this. So we were talking about trivia later.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do something special here next month, starting next week. We're going to have a contest. So we're going to take all 4 winners from next month, 7, 14, 21, and 28. All right.
Nice.
Hey, real quick, in the chat, we're missing a conversation between like Christopher Lifestyle and Sandra Picorni about Bob Seger, and that's another one of my guys, man. Bob Seger, that's another one of those guys. So I'm with you guys there.
Oh yeah,
I like that dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna take the 4 winners from December, okay, and we're gonna invite you to a party on the Friday the 30th.
Bringing in the new year, baby.
Yeah.
So we are calling it the Halenville Lab Lost Year-End Contest.
Okay.
Dude?
No, I'm looking at the pictures and I'm going, that's got Ed written all over it.
Yes, it does.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it does, man.
So,
oh, God, that is good.
Yeah. So now at this party, we'll play trivia. It'll be a private party, not live, not recorded or anything. There'll be a surprise special guest here too.
Yes, there will. Yes, there will.
You'll play trivia, you 4, for some really cool VanHalen style prizes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that starts next week.
All right.
All right. So the
The
first
trivia
winner
questions are not going to be easy, right,
Yeah,
Tony?
yeah.
we'll still give passes and stuff away each week, but I'll be mailing each of you one of these.
I love those, man.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
But that starts next week and runs all month long. Now, if that's not enough, now this is at the year's end, you know, it's our
Mhm.
year end contest, but we'll have a party on 30th, but we'll also take you four guys and invite you on the following night to be on the panel
That's it.
on our New Year's show. Yeah.
That's it.
So, yeah, you'll be our special guest on the New Year's show here. If you choose, if you want to come, you have an invitation to be on the panel New Year's. So
It's going to be like
Hey,
MTV's Lost Weekend.
it
just jump
is.
in and say hi. We're going to be talking
It
about a
is.
lot of stuff.
We'll
A
have a
lot of
lot
stuff.
of guests here New Year's. We'll have a surprise special guest the night before on the 30th. That's a private party. And God knows what's going to happen there.
I love that idea, though. Fruitcake Tony, I really think that that's a great idea because I would love to put a face to some of these people in the chat that have followed us for 2 years now, like that have been that I consider friends. I would love to get some more people on the show that watch us every week. Like give them their 15 minutes, like let's let
Right.
people be interactive with us and talk shop and just I look forward to it. That'll be fun. That's a good contest.
That's the
We've
whole
done
point, Neil.
this.
Yep.
We've done
Put a
this
name
on
and a
Show
face
Me Your.
together, bro.
Yeah.
We've done this on Show Me Your Pick, where we've had backstage bashes, and it's so cool. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
So we get to meet.
I love it.
You guys.
Such a good idea. Such a good idea.
You know, yeah.
Keith.
Hey, by the way,
if Keith ends up being a contest winner, he's got to paint his face like the Eat 'em and Smile again for New Year's Eve.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, quick shout out. The Axe is in the chat. Gretsch Zeppelin is in the chat.
Oh, right
and I
on,
believe
man.
Robert
Hey, fellas.
Ranford is new in the chat. It's good to see all three of you guys.
Nice
Welcome.
to see you
Thanks for
guys.
showing up, guys.
Yeah.
Very cool to see you, man.
Robert Ranford's a cool cat. I dig that dude. Robert, thanks for tuning in, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man.
All of them are. Yes, they are. Yeah, I look forward to Wednesday and you guys. But yeah, so the contest it is so we can meet the viewers.
Yeah.
And that is so cool. But yeah, so but this will be a little different, I think, than the other backstage bashes. This might be a little more on the wild side. Yeah, God knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's beyond my control.
Might be like the opening of Cabo. Let's just
waivers will be available.
Yeah. Bring your 7th tuner, folks. Headstocks are going to break.
It'll be a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah. So these passes, not a lot of people have these passes. We have these passes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Got to earn it.
And you're gonna, plus at the party there'll be other passes and other picks, VanHalen picks too. I'm gonna hook you guys up. Posters, some
Nice.
cool posters. You're gonna trip. Koozies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
You guys are gonna get a nice little saddlebag of goodness. Yeah.
Oh, Charles, Holly's
I'm glad you asked. I was actually thinking we were going to talk a little more about that on Show Me Your Pick. By the way, I just want to point out that absolutely cool banner that I got right there over my head from the 2022 tour. I couldn't resist. Tony was supposed to go with me, but because of a health reason, he had to back out, and we're looking forward. We're making plans though. So Tony's going to get well, and we're making plans for this next year. But I got there almost an hour and 20 minutes before the doors were supposed to open. Very confident that I was going to be at least in the first quarter, maybe within the first half. Freaking line was a quarter mile long when I got there, right? And I'm looking, I'm saying, is that the line? No way. Oh, God. So I got in there and but still, even when I got in the line, there was another 200-300 yards of people behind me. And we're 2 or 3 thick. It's not like we're 10 thick. The place holds like 1,400 people.
Right.
But it was sold out to the gills. I got to see 2 bands play that started in 1982 in Hollywood, California. I saw them play a show together at the Troubadour. I think it was in March, maybe, of 1982. First show they ever played together. It was the first Armored Saint show in Hollywood with Wasp.
Wow.
It was a sold-out show. It was completely a different show than the show that I saw, though, because in those days, these boys were young. And when I say they were young, the members of Armored Saint and Wasp were average age was 19. All right. And Wasp was the most evil, and I'm not exaggerating, band on the planet Earth for mainstream media. And Armored Saint was a local favorite, is how it kind of became. Armored Saint, all through California, they have a following, and they had a following in the early days that to this day they're all still there. The legacy of Armored Saint is incredible. The legacy of Wasp is incredible. Similar fan base, exact same fan base, I would say.
Yeah.
The reason Wasp, and this came right out of Blackie Lawless's mouth about 3/4 of the way through the show. At this one point, he stopped, he came out, and they were giving a tribute. It's their 40-year anniversary, 30 years anniversary for the Crimson Idol. So I got to hear them. Dude, they played every great song that they had. Electric Circus, holy crap. Neil, go on my Facebook. I posted a bunch of stuff. Check it out.
I saw them.
Halfway. I apologize. I have a new camera, and there's a learning curve, but I'm sort of halfway happy with what I got because it's good stuff. Some cool memory moments for me.
It's good stuff.
At one point of the show, I'm skipping around a little bit, but at one point of the show, Armored Saint, they stopped, and Joey Vera comes up there, and I knew this guy now. He was like 18. Okay. He's a young guy. He's only 58 now, maybe 59. So at that time he was 82. He's around 19 years old. And he starts talking about this show that they did with Wasp in 82 at the Troubadour. And my son-in-law, Jake, was standing next to me, and he looks at me and he goes, dude, you were at that show. And I'm like, wow, yeah, you know what? Yes, I was. And watching those 2 bands, and Armored Saint open for Wasp. So I watched them duplicate a 40-year later show.
That's insane.
With the exception of the new music that came out after the fact, which is considerable, I got to watch them play probably 3 to 4 songs. Wasp, I got to hear more of their original songs because they had, their original album had some great hits on it, and they played all of them. I got to hear these guys do songs, duplicate songs from 40 years ago. And it was weird. It was just, I was having just memory flashbacks, and it was one of
Wow.
the greatest, best club moments I've had in the last
So
20
Charles,
years.
you were at the Fillmore in Charlotte.
Fillmore in Charlotte, sold out show.
How big of a joint is this?
1,400 people. It's the same size pretty much as the Ritz.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the same size, give or take 150, 200 feet, I would say. Just to say, I'll say this, it's a little nicer venue. It's a little bit nicer. It's got 4 bars. There's a place you can eat in the back corner. The bathrooms are kind of far away. And then there's a bar outside of the bathroom. There's a bar kiosk where you can order a drink if you're waiting for your girlfriend. Really great place, really, to see a show. Real intimate. There's not a bad seat in the house. I got to hear these guys play songs that I hadn't heard in a long time live. And the fact that I actually got to see it was a miracle. But I was, you know what, I missed something. I was talking about Blackie stopping the show around. He came out and it was the first time where he actually really spoke to the audience. And he was commemorating past members. They put up on the back of the wall, they flashed it up there. On the entire back wall, there was a couple of hundred names of people who were given credit for them and their longevity, paying homage to all the people who supported them, past band members. But he said this just as simply as this. He said, the only reason Wasp has not been here for 10 years is not because.
What's up?
Hey, Tom.
Tommy, I love you, brother. Whoa, it's good to see you, bro. The only reason Wasp hadn't toured in the last 10 years is because the people, the powers that be that do the promoting and make bands happen and actually tour, didn't think that they could sell any shows.
Wow.
And all they've done is sell out after sold out show after sold out show after sold out show. Shit. They're playing a sold out show tonight.
What Wasp did, Charles, Wasp played on purpose. Wasp sells out in Europe.
Exactly.
And they don't draw here. So why come here?
Well, because the reason, and this is the great part about it, the reason that they are here now is because they didn't get hundreds of people complaining, literally on their computer saying, look, Wasp, where's Wasp, where's Wasp? It was thousands and thousands of people complaining, where's Wasp?
Right.
And that's what he said.
That explains why it sold out.
For those of you guys who don't know, Blackie's got some age on him, right? And his mic stand, the skeleton, is a work of art, is what it is. But he used to ride that thing to the point where he'd climb up on it and he'd straddle it and he would rock. And for those of you who have seen him actually do it, he used to get live. But nowadays, he's more subdued, okay? Because he didn't want to lose grip and launch himself out into the crowd, right? Or worse. But he jumped up on that sucker. I have some video during Wild Child. It's posted. He climbs on it and he gives it a few good rocks, man. And to get to see him do that was really, really cool. And we'll talk more about this show. I got some. Oh, well, shoot. Since we're doing this, I'll tell you what. You give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I got something to show you guys.
All right. Right on. Charles reliving his teenage years.
Right on. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about too. Mammoth out there.
Yeah.
Jockeying with, we'll get into that. We'll wait on Charles first.
So I text Tony. I said, hey, bro, what was your shirt size? Because I wanted to get him a shirt, And the merch table was awesome. And he didn't respond right away. And so I went up to the merch table and I was like, dude, I said to Jake, I said, Tony's a large. He's a large. Yeah, he's large. And so I asked the guy for a large and he goes, man, I'm sorry, I'm sold out of large. And I said, wow, dude, that's a bummer, dude. I said, well, give me an XL. So I figured I'd just upsize and hope it shrunk. But then about 20 minutes later, I looked at my phone and Tony's an extra large. I'd just forgotten. And I got him a shirt. This one's for you, Tony, since you couldn't be there, brother.
Oh,
That's the
cool.
front.
Oh,
That's the
Oh,
front.
right on.
That's the front. And that's the back.
Right on.
I know you like tour shirts that list all the
That
towns.
is cool.
And,
I
you know,
love
all
tour
the
shirts.
stuff.
Right on,
I'm
dude.
with
That's
them. I love tour shirts that show the itinerary, or that show the
Thank you,
cities list.
Charles.
And I will wrap a guitar hack pickup inside the shirt when I send this to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
cool.
don't let me forget.
Yeah.
Because I know you need a guitar hack pick. You asked me for one a couple
Yeah.
times.
That's awesome.
I
But
need a
yeah, but I
guitar
wish
hack
you
pick.
could.
I need an Andy Carson pick, too.
We all need an Andy Carson pick.
Just saying. Yeah. I think they're new, but
How
yeah.
am I going to show an Andy Carson pick on the show if I don't have an Andy
That's
Carson
right.
pick to show?
Andy,
That's all I'm
are
saying.
you listening?
Anyhow, yeah, it's nice to get to see these guys. The fact that and you want to talk about still bringing it. I mean, I've lowered my expectations, and I really didn't need to.
That's
You
cool.
know, I mean,
That's
I did
really
not.
cool.
No, check the video I posted.
Yeah.
Wacky sounds
Let me
good.
say,
Man, he
let me
sounds real
say
good.
something about his videos that he posts that shows. Now, we talk about how tall Charles is. Okay, and I don't think people believe me when I tell you I'm 5'10" or whatever, 5'9" now. But when you
5'9" now.
watch Charles's Wasp videos on his socials, in them he always does the panoramic thing where he does, you know, complete
Yeah.
360, and you can see how tall he is compared to everybody else in the room.
At this one, it's funny you say that, Tony. At this one point, I'm standing with Jake. Now, Jake is an inch taller than me. My son-in-law, he's an inch taller
Ooh.
than me. But we're standing, and these two guys come across the crowd because people were moving around. And darned if they weren't an inch taller than Jake. And so they come by and look, and we all four of us look at each other all at once, and everybody else around us was nowhere near as tall as we were. And so we were like standing out. And we had this moment of four tall guys talking shit at a concert. It was wonderful, you know, but I'm really not that tall. I'm like 6'3.5", something like that, you know.
He's a lot.
Well, Charles, you and I fall into the same category though, because I'm 6'2",
Yeah.
and I always end up like here's the nature of my personality is I'll fight like hell to get up into the front row of a concert.
Yeah.
And then after working hours and manipulating and moving and physically abusing all the people around me to get to the right spot, inevitably there will be some 5'4" cute girl next to me that has never seen the band before. And I always sit there and default, and I'm like, okay, go ahead. And then little by little, my generous nature always takes over, and all the work I did is thrown out the window because I start deferring to, I don't mind standing in the back and looking over people's heads. So it's always like pre-show, I'm an asshole. But once the show starts, no, I always want to make sure everybody around me has a good time.
I'm in the same boat you are. We when we got as late as we got in, people were still buying drinks. The merch line was long. Everybody was, my God, the merch line. And so we were standing there, and I walked up, and where I was standing, I was 30 feet from the stage, 30 feet, but I could have very easily been 15 feet from the stage. I would have just had to make my way up there. But I would have really had to impede him. It would have. And it's a little bit rude. I'm not that guy. You know, I'm just not that guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And I saw a lot of those guys. Oh, I'll tell you a stupid story. You want to know what's stupid? Here is the definition of this is stupid, okay? If you look at the video I posted by any chance, you'll look in the upper left-hand corner, there's a high beam that comes down, and there's a little sign, a red sign on there. It looks like a no parking sign. It's about 10 feet up on the pole, so you can see it, but you can't touch it. and it has 3 things on it. It says no smoking, no vaping, and it has a marijuana leaf. It says no pot. And then at the bottom, right underneath, it says don't get caught, you'll be ejected. Now, I saw no less than 15 of those little signs, sort of the same level all around. You can't miss them. You cannot miss them. If you look anywhere in front of you, you will see one. This guy and his friend are 6 feet center stage off the rail. And me and Jake are standing there for a moment. And all of a sudden, we see a couple of flashlights, and we see a security guard come up onto the rail, and he's looking right down, and he's talking. And we couldn't really hear what he was saying, but we see about 30 people, and all these hands go straight up, and fingers go boom, 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 boom. This fool sparked up a joint in a non-smoking club, 8 feet, maybe even a little closer, from the front of the stage in front of Blackie Lawless before the band. This was before the band started playing. He got ejected about 4 minutes before Wasp hit the stage.
What an idiot.
And he had the best seat in the house. He was in the... And so he kick him out, and he comes right past me. They go right, him and 4 security guards come right past, and he's like, man, this is BSB. You know, he's arguing the whole way out the door. And it was funny because just before all that went down, we were looking, and I could see now the stage had smoke. They were smoking up the stage big time with, ambiance.
Yeah, pirates.
But then you can see right in the center of this area of all these people in the front of the stage, there's no smoke. It's perfectly good because the air conditioning pulls it all off the stage. It doesn't come out in the crowd.
Right.
When you see this little hail of smoke just hovering over these people, it was horrible. So, my shout out to the stupid guy who got booted out of the show. Dumb move. If it says don't smoke, don't smoke. Real simple. Yep. I felt sorry for him a little bit because he missed a really, really, really good show.
Now, just think though, had you been waiting in line, you said you got there an hour and a half early.
Hour and 20 minutes. Hour
and 20 minutes early. Now, if you had Tony with you, flipping his leopard skin thong, you guys would have been front row center.
No, if Tony had been there, we'd have been 2 hours early. We'd have been in the first. We would have been, and because for some reason he's got that rhythm down for going to shows. And I missed the shit out of him being at that show. I really do.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. You guys would be on the tour bus.
We would have been up tight.
Yes. Yeah.
And pardon me, Neil, I wouldn't have been rude to her. I would have shared my space.
When we were at
not given.
When we were
nice.
Where were we at? Dirty Honey. There were 2 very nice young girls who were against the rail, but we were to the right, so they were to my right. Tony was to my left, more or less, and they were about 5 foot tall, 4'9". Yeah. They were, small girls, and I let them come up in front of me. I mean, my God, I was on the rail. What am I going to do? Step back a foot and lose the show? No, it'll be okay. So, yeah. Hey, it's trivia time, you guys.
Yeah. All right. So, now, after trivia, we're going to turn the corner, Charles. We're going to talk about some Wolfgang news.
Nice.
New Wolfgang.
Nice.
Yeah. That'll be after trivia. I'll dive into that. I've been waiting to talk about this all night. And let me say this ahead of trivia. We are still waiting for Simon.
Yep.
Yep.
So he apparently has his watch on upside down.
And we hope that everything's okay with him.
Yeah.
Of
course. But I do that often, or I don't even have it on. Yeah. But like I said, when he arrives, we'll bring him right in. But let's get into some nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. How about it?
They ain't gonna get it. They ain't gonna get it.
By the way, Adam just said goodbye, guys. He's got to go to the beach. So
Be well, Adam. You rock, bro.
Right on. See you, Adam.
Oh,
Nice
my
to see you,
God.
dude.
Yeah. Enjoy your Mai Tai.
Remember to send me those pictures. Remember, I'm living this through you, brother. Nice.
Yeah. Nice to be in summertime.
Nice.
All right. So, what we're playing for is a 1995 Aftershow Balance Pass green hue
That's so cool.
tonight for some nearly impossible. It might be ungettable Van Halen trivia. Might have to rename it tonight.
R2R3 says it's totally impossible trivia.
Nice.
You'll have to know your stuff. All right. And no hints to the kiddos, guys.
Adam. Cheerio, mate.
Right on in Fiji on the beach.
Every once in a while, you see somebody take a vacation and you just think, oh, geez, man, now that's what a vacation is, bro.
Water so clear you drop the vodka bottle in and can't find it.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. And they do it right too. The pictures of Adam and his wife, you know, some of the places they're doing it right. They're doing a vacation right. Like they're sightseeing, they're enjoying it. They're
One of the most beautiful places on the earth, man.
God,
I mean, it's hard to beat Fiji. It really
Yep.
is. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
All right, kids.
All right.
Let's dive into this question. If you're the winner, there's an email address in the description, trivia winners email, and email me your name and address. I'll mail you that cool balance pass out tomorrow morning, along with some other guitar picks, some Halenville picks, some show me your picks, some Fruitcake Tony picks, and yeah, that'll be on the way. But this is a toughie, I think, but answer specific. All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly impossible Van Halen trivia. The last day of November 2022, going into December tomorrow.
Yep.
Here we go. David Lee Roth and his bodyguard Ed Anderson survived on this while on their New Guinea jungle vacation in 1983.
Gotta be specific.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's see.
Wow, they're all coming in fast.
I'm gonna put the answer, guys, in the.
They're coming in fast and furious.
Oh, this is wonderful.
It's in the private chat, so Neil, I know I didn't show you.
No, you didn't. I think Ben Tom's answer is the most creative. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, man. Aquafina. R2R3 Aquafina.
This is
I
almost
see a lot
impossible.
of good answers.
It's almost impossible.
They're digging deep.
And Neil, there is a great story that goes with the answer too.
I can't wait to hear it because I don't know this one, and I didn't see the answer ahead of time, so I'm in the dark.
Michael B is in the chat. Welcome to Halenville, bro.
Hey, dude.
Dwight Bailey. It's good to see you, Dwight. Hey, man, right on, bro. Potted meat and crackers. Cool, Dwight.
There's some good
They
ones.
wish.
Guinea pigs. Greg Zeppelin said
Some
guinea
New
pigs.
Guinea booze.
There's some creative answers. I'll give you all that.
Goldschlager.
Oh, Christopher Live Sour. Remind me to tell you the story someday about when I gave a bottle of Goldschlager to Dennis Rodman. That's another story.
Oh, dude, I like to hear that.
Oh, that's a good one.
You haven't put that in the book? I
Nope.
haven't read all your book. Is it in the book?
Nope.
I'm about 3/4 of the way through your book.
Nope.
And one of these days, brother.
We'll do a book review.
No, deal, bro, dude. One of these days, we're going in deep, bro,
Yeah.
on that book. Okay, he's just got some fantastic stories. This book is funny as shit, you guys. I mean, seriously, when you start reading, you realize he's living this crap, and
Yeah.
you go, like,
Oh yeah.
what? I like that book, Neil. That's a great book, bro.
I'm glad. You know, since it's the holiday season, while people are still guessing, and I don't mean to monopolize this conversation, but the book's available on Amazon.com. If anybody wants a Christmas gift or, you know, something for the holidays or a gag gift to put, you know, by your toilet or something like that. The book is available, Neil Daly, on Amazon or on Barnes & Nobles, I think, and on Borders, if those websites still exist. But on Amazon, you can get the book, Omnibus Prime.
I wouldn't rank it as a gag book, Neil. Yeah,
Well,
seriously,
it
dude.
wasn't a
Every
gag to
time I
me.
read this book,
No.
I read. I don't get one or two little incidents and things that I got to remember. This is real time in your life.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, dude, this is a great book. Just read the damn book.
I have it
Seriously.
marked in several places, and
Nice.
you understand why.
I know exactly why.
because it's laid out. You want to explain its layout, Neil?
All right, real quick before
It's
we
a
get
great book. They're
so it's
all
a
joking
collection.
aside.
I started when I moved to Los Angeles in 1990 or 1992. I started. I was exposed to a whole new world that I hadn't experienced in my upbringing in Chicago, and I took it upon myself to start documenting the things I did because I was actually privy to going to Hollywood parties and meeting celebrities at bars and having random things happen about where the kind of things that when you tell people about, you know, from back home in Chicago, all my family and friends would be like, yeah, whatever, that's not really true. And then I'd say, no, I have proof. Here's like, this really happened. And because I'm a natural storyteller and because of my sense of humor, people have long one of the best compliments I get when I'm telling a story to somebody is they're like, that sounds so completely outrageous it can't possibly be true, but I know Neil, so it could be true. That's like one of the greatest compliments anybody could ever give me.
Yeah.
And what I did was I started documenting just random thoughts. Some of them are just random thoughts and like opinions and things like, you know, I'll write my thoughts on Mr. T or something like that. And then I'll also explain, you know, no, this really happened, you know, in the Diesel store at the Beverly Center when I got in a fight with Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls, you know, and I'll actually write this type of stuff out. And people are like, that can't possibly be true, but I know Neil and it really might have. And so what I tell people is everything in the book is absolutely true the way I remember it. And it's a collection of short stories. And here's the thing, we've talked about this before. There's 35 stories in the book, 35 short stories. So you can pick it up and read it from any point. It's not laid out chronologically on purpose. Some are short, some are a page or two, some are 15 pages. It's completely random. So you can, it's the nice thing about the book is you don't have to have a start and an end point. You don't have to remember where you left off. You can pick it up and just flip to a story and say, I want to read about that story.
That's right.
And that's the nice thing about it. And I have got far more material than those 35 stories. I've got 100 more stories that I documented that are in books 2 and 3 and 4, which I haven't written yet. Case in point, we just started to talk. There's a night that I met Dennis Rodman and the Chicago Bulls at the Ritz Carlton in Marina del Rey.
Mm.
After a Sacramento Kings game, the Bulls flew down to play the Lakers the next day, and they came to the Ritz. And I showed up after doing all my research, and trust me, I put in the legwork. I ended up finding out Dennis Rodman likes Goldschlager, so I brought down a bottle of Goldschlager, met him in the hotel lobby, and gave him a bottle of Goldschlager. And I'll leave it at that. But that story will be in the next book. There is a lot more to it, and those type of things really happen to me. So I decided it would be fun to put them in books, and I did. I wrote the book just to give to my friends. That was it. I don't make any money off it. I don't make anything off it. It's just for fun.
It's not just that they're just stories like, hey, I went here and I did this with who and boom, boom. There's irony. There's twists of irony that go within it. You've got, I'm not going to even go into it, but there's paper beats rock.
Rock, paper, scissors.
You'll enjoy it. Every story. If you get this book, it's like, wow, Neil did that. Wow, Neil did that. Wow.
Yeah,
and like, holy shit, Neil, you got 9 lives, brother.
I'm telling you, absolutely right. And the funny thing is, and the reason I love talking about this with anybody, but especially with Charles, is there are landmark places that I've been to where Charles can know the layout of the place. You know, when I talk about, something that happened at the Troubadour, Charles sits there and goes, I know the upstairs. I know that secret loft right above the bar where you have to walk on stage to get to the stairway to go up. Like all these, I have fun talking about this stuff because these are real things that happened.
That's right. Just great stuff, you guys. But look, you don't have time to be writing now because we've got some guitar builds going on. Your time is taken up right now. You're doing a guitar build for me. We got a body and neck coming from Chris Locke.
Yeah, I want to say, here's the cool thing, and Charles, I'll use you as an example without giving too much away, but I'll reference you as something. There's an interesting trend that I'm seeing happening that I'm happy about. It's something that I'm actually happy about. A lot of the people that wanted the iconic, the Frankenstrats and the 5150s by now, since Eddie's passed 2 years ago, they have them. They have those guitars. So now what I'm noticing is now people are starting to think outside the box a little bit, and they're starting to be a little creative and say, well, either they're really rare Van Halen played guitars, or they want to put their own spin on a Van Halen tribute guitar, which maybe didn't exist prior, but these are the colors they like, or these are the things they like. And Charles, you and I are doing something similar to that, which really gets my creative juices flowing.
We are going to do the most brutally relicked guitar. Just take whatever you consider to be your heaviest relic. And I've seen, you showed a couple of S-shaped guitars a month or so ago.
Yeah.
Heavily relic. One of them, the number 13 was on it. I loved it. That's what we're doing. It'll be a bumblebee it'll be a bumblebee body on a PV Wolfgang special.
A bumblebee stripe pattern. Bumblebee stripes on the PV body.
Traditional colors. As to what now you were showing them the ultraviolet, is that what you were calling it?
The neon.
The neon. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I may not go that way. I'm really intrigued, and you may coerce me into it, but for right now we're going to go traditional on it because that's badass enough. What we're looking to do is just it's okay. You don't have to, sometimes you got to say enough is enough. Yeah. Unless we're talking about relicking. Yeah. Okay.
But go ahead, speaking of that, I'm going to ask you a question in a moment, Neil. Okay. About a topic that I'm curious about, and I saw somebody make a comment in the chat earlier about, but I want to talk about this new Mammoth news too. So let's not.
Well, let me just wrap up really quickly with what Charles and I are doing, which is cool. So for the people out there in the chat, people that have followed the show know Charles's taste. We've talked ad nauseum about his Frankie and about the Hot for Teacher guitar that we did with Lori Tucker and things like that. What I love about Charles is every time I, as an artist, think, okay, maybe I've gone too far. Let me show him a picture and see where we're at. The best thing about Charles is he's like, nope, go farther.
According to Ferris
every
Bueller,
time.
you can never go too far.
Yep,
all right?
yep. Exactly.
And
If
I
I'm gonna
expect
get
that out
caught,
of the King of freaking Halloween, Neil. I'm just saying. Okay.
yeah.
I expect that. No, you're
Nice.
gonna kick out a really nice guitar. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna do a really great build.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we can talk about this all night, you guys, but we got to move forward. We'll move on. Can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yep. So people, real quick. So if you're interested in a quick holiday gift, go to Amazon and get Neil Daly's Omnibus Prime book. It's a lot of fun, and there will be stories galore, and I'll be happy to talk about them. And then I'm going to do another book as a follow-up because I've got more than enough material to work with. And we'll talk guitars another time. Let's get back to the trivia.
There you go.
Let's get back to the show.
I do want to point out the obvious, though, that nobody's got the trivia question. Neil.
I know. The longer we talk, the more I realize no one got it yet, which means Tony might have met his crescendo.
I was pretty confident when he asked me. I had no idea. I mean, I was completely clueless on this.
So Neil, what I want to ask you while we're still waiting on answers, somebody made a comment earlier too. Now I'm seeing these skins or wraps.
Yeah. I think Holly was it Holly that brought that up? I feel like somebody brought that up in the chat, and I noticed it.
Yeah. What's your take on those?
Well, I mean, it's the same to me. It's the same thing as people put those kind of skins on cars. It's right. Similar. It you can do some really cool graphic design on a car if you're looking for an advertisement, or if you're looking for some sort of a specific logo that can't be hand painted, that kind of thing. Sure, I appreciate that, but most artists, most painters and everything would say that takes kind of the creativity out of doing it by hand. If there's somebody that's a really, really good auto detailer or painter, they're not going to want to lose business to somebody that's wrapping, like a fake skin around it with like the logo of Fireball or something, like some liquor or some things like that. I mean, even NASCAR drivers and stuff like that, those things are painted. Those are so to answer the question, I've seen people doing it, and there are certain things that if you're talking about, for example, keeping it Van Halen related. If somebody asked me to do a Jack Daniel's bass, like Michael Anthony's bass and everything like that, the Jack Daniel's skin wrapped around that, like if you could get that custom made, would be a perfect example in time and place to use that kind of thing, because that's a specific logo.
Right.
That's a specific logo. So that makes perfect sense. That kind of thing. It would work in that scenario. But, unless you're, I'm a purist in the sense that, I put a lot of time and energy into the research and recon and education and practice of my paint craft and things like that. So I would always rather do it by hand and do it that, there's a certain, I'll give you another example of how there's there are some people that want the 5150 done, and they'll have somebody create a like not necessarily skin, but they'll use a projector to create a template on an actual body, and then they'll put that out and then have somebody like a graphic designer custom do that guitar based on the template that's put out. And
that's for accuracy, probably.
Yeah, it is. But most of the people we know on these shows and everything, even the people that are accurate freaks, we've had Donnie Ward, we've had Rob Johnson, we've had Chris Hubbard, we've had Dave Nesdahl. There's some of these people and everything. There's still, those people would never ever swap their talent for painting for that. That's the one thing that I agree with. I would always rather there's a certain artistic freedom in knowing that there's going to be mistakes. It's never going to be perfect. There is not, I've done probably 50, 60, 5150 guitars in the last 10 years, of the 5150 style guitar with that paint job. I could not, there's no way in hell that two are alike. It's just not possible.
Sure.
It's not possible. There's going to be human error. There's
Yeah.
going to be a little bit, and that's what makes the process exciting. And that's why when somebody comes to me because they want a custom build, they take that into account. They're like, I want a guitar. Simon has talked about this. Simon Hosford has talked about this plenty of times, where he said, I knew that I'm getting one of one. There's not a single other 5150 guitar out there that is identical to this one because it was hand painted.
That's right. And this is not a slight on them at all, but EVH, when they did the production of the Frankie, you would expect them to use what you were just talking about is the kind of thing that they do in factories to reproduce multiple patterns of the same run.
Yep.
That's the tool they use. That's what you're describing.
Yep.
And they're not even really close.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, when you take two EVHs and you put them there's a bunch of videos on YouTube for it. There are similarities, but there's a lot of discrepancies.
I don't think it's made to be that exact. It's not.
Well,
like
that's
that
we're talking about the
ago.
difference between, there are some people, and I'm not going to mention names, but when you're talking about like the $25,000 limited edition Fender Frankenstrats that came out, 10 years ago, the limited edition runs that were selling for 25 grand, there are some people that said they've noticed inaccuracies. And
that's what I'm talking about.
And that's the price of a car. That kind of thing. And there's rumors that in the next year or so, they're going to do the same thing with the 5150. There's rumors that there is going to be a $25,000 to $30,000 EVH licensed Fender guitar or Kramer guitar that's going to come out that is going to be an identical tribute to it. And the funny thing is, we know from this show, we have experts on the show all the time that we can't decide on what body type it was. We can't decide on the color it was. We can't, there are things, and these are people that are purists that have studied this. Dave Nesdahl has dedicated his life to this kind of thing, So I think it's funny that whenever you have these people, like Charles, like you said, there's I want to be very careful that I don't badmouth the EVH line. I'm not going to say
no.
No, let me phrase it this way, though, and hopefully people can infer what I want them to infer from this. But there's a reason that people that have bought the EVH guitars have come to me and said repaint it. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not saying anything negative about EVH, but there's a reason that some people have come to me and say they've said it's not accurate. Can you redo it? So,
yeah. People are going to get what they want. People are going to, they're making purchases. They're going to, end result is we're going to get what we want. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let me put it this way real quick, and we can sum this up with a nice little tidy bow and end this conversation. But there are some people, like let's say hypothetically, I produced an identical copy of an EVH Frankenstrat. So if I held mine up and then held up an EVH version, let's say that they were 100% identical. There are going to be people that are going to want the one that came from EVH because it's licensed by EVH and it came from his family's company.
Right.
And there are those that are going to say, I would rather have Neil's because it's a custom-made, hand-built, blood, sweat, and tears guitar that a fan of Eddie Van Halen made. I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. To each their own. There are plenty of camps for both, and there's room for both of us to exist.
Sure.
But there is always going to be that divide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're not always ever going to agree on the same thing, period. And that, you know what? That's a good thing,
dude.
It really is.
Mine that you built me, I've gone over every, and it is as close as anything I've ever seen.
Me and Tony, we did
I've got the I've gone over. Yeah, dude. But the others, you're paying for the name.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's a great instrument, though.
Sure.
Don't Not to say it's not. It
You know,
is.
the thing about
But
oh, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
no, the thing is it's your taste. If that's what you want,
Right.
I mean, some people, you want this or you want that, but it's got to have that Gibson on the headstock, and
Yeah.
if it doesn't, then
Hey, dude,
Oh, we're about to get yelled at.
give him a hint,
Give him a hint.
or
I
let me
will.
get,
Go
or let me
hint,
give him a hint.
hint the trivia.
No. I'm gonna end this in a minute.
Okay.
All right. I don't know what kind of hint I could give him.
Um,
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. Somebody's close.
That's not,
Somebody's
that's not a
close.
hint.
oh, that's really brutal, dude.
Oh my
One of
God.
you is close.
That is awful. Oh my
Which
God.
one? No, one of you is close. But a lot of great answers, though. And this was like in between South American leg in early '83 and spring at the US Festival. A little let's not go home after the South American leg kind of thing. Yeah.
Me and Tony came on to a green room with Sandra, and we had just got the two Frankies we got from Unio. So we have
Mhm.
brother and sister guitars.
You're
And
right.
we compared them. We did a side by side, just me and him, right? Boom, boom. We compared every square inch, every square inch of the guitar. And there were similarities, and there were vast differences.
Yeah, sure.
But
That's
the
natural.
single thing about both guitars is this: one from the other, you can't discern what's different because they're so accurate. You see what I'm saying? They're so
Yeah.
in the ballpark
Yeah.
that any indiscrepancy, you can't do one perfectly if you do it by hand anyway. You can't do that. The tape's going to be slightly, it's impossible.
Sure.
But that's
Yeah.
okay because the vibe and the end finished result of the guitar is spot on. And that's what matters. When I play it, I can't even notice. I can't
Yeah.
even notice it because it's just there. I mean, it's wonderful, man.
Yeah, and and on top of that too, the one thing that I've kind of prided myself, because here's the thing that people have to remember when they're hiring me to do a guitar build. I wasn't a guitar builder first. I was a musician first. I was a guitar player first. I played in bands. I recorded music. That's my bread and butter. And the reason I mention that is because a lot of people come to me and they appreciate my paint job and they appreciate this and my level of relicking and things like that. And that's great. I'm extremely happy. I'm very thankful and grateful that I have this career right now. But at the end of the day, the best compliment you could give me is how it sounds when you play. I more than anything else, I want people to
all
say
that really matters
this
now.
is I want people to
keep
say
that in
I
perspective.
love this guitar. I can't put it down. I don't care what it looks like. This is the
Right.
best guitar I own.
That's
Those are the things that mean more to me because I'm a guitar player first and foremost. I care about sound. I care about tone. I care about, the neck profile. I care about how the weight is and how it's distributed. All those little tiny things. Those are the things I care about.
Oh, you know what? I was going to tell you something, and I was waiting for the next time you came on a show, and then I was going to bare my soul to you on the show. So I'm going to do it real quick.
Uh-oh,
Okay,
here we go.
so I was talking to Adam Reaver about 3 weeks ago, and we're talking pickups.
Mhm.
He has the Mighty Might line,
Mhm.
the Mother Bucker.
Mhm.
I stuck a 20K Mother Bucker in my Hot for Teacher.
Okay.
The video that I posted, that short little snippet,
Yeah.
was me playing it after finishing and wiring it back up, boom, boom, getting it ready, rocking. That was my sound test.
Mhm.
That pickup is a 20K. It is insanely hot. Now,
Yes.
some guys would say, well, you don't need to pick up that hot. It's too hot. No. It's all on how you use the pickup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
it is the equivalent of a brick hitting a plate glass window. I'm telling you, I wanted a pickup with punch. I wanted
Yeah.
a punch. I want a pickup that punches you when you strike a solid chord.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned, dude. I've got it, man. I've got it. But I did
That's
it. And I don't know
awesome.
if that's blasphemy or what, bro.
No, it's your guitar.
But,
That's what separates me from everybody else that builds these things. Is I always want to make it your guitar.
Well, I was gonna put that in my Jackson Kelly, in my Kelly. I was gonna put that pickup in my Kelly, and it would have elevated my Kelly to that pickup is a guitar elevator. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
They're
that's
just
awesome.
under $100. Okay, that's the other thing. It's a mighty might, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to share that with you, bro, and I'm glad I got to share it with everybody else. But
I
I'm
appreciate
meaning
you
to tell you
sharing
that story.
You know,
And I'm so happy with the tone. Oh, dude,
let's, okay. First of all, thank you for sharing this, and it's really important that you share this type of stuff. As I've always welcomed when I've built guitars, I want somebody to give me negative feedback too. Tell me what I can improve on, those kind of things, because I'm an artist and I'm always searching for that. This isn't a paycheck job for me. I do this because I love it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that means a lot to me. But I've also always said, I want somebody, don't be afraid to come to me and say, hey, I swapped this out and tweaked this and did this and everything, and now it's perfect. Because all I care about is that the end result is it's perfect for you. I don't care what you have to do with it after the fact.
Yeah.
I gave you what I hoped represented what I thought you wanted.
Well,
Then
the pickup is a great pickup, Neil. The one that's on the guitar is a great pickup.
I know.
Nothing wrong with it.
But it's again, it's personal preference.
It was morbid curiosity. I'll be honest with you. It was morbid curiosity, and I had the time, and I did it.
Yeah.
But
the key thing though is that the ear is subjective, and no matter what, like I can ask 5 people. Like suppose I'm doing 5 different builds for people that all say they want the fair warning guitar tone.
Mm-hmm.
I can use the same pickup after conversing with Donnie Ward. I can come up with the pickup that was used for the fair warning recording and give it to all 5 people, and they will all hear something different. They'll all be like, well, that's not quite what I was looking for, and things like that. But it's the same thing. So that just shows, the ear is subjective, and all I can do is present, what I can build the best guitar based on the information I'm given and the personality of the person I'm building it for, and hope that that's right. But I tell everybody, now it's yours. Take it and make it your own. If you want to lift the Floyd, if you want to lower it, if you want to put a shim in the neck, if you want to, sand the locking nut down, if the action's not right, if you want to do this, if you want to swap it, like all these things, I tell people it's yours now. It's no longer mine. It's yours. You will never hurt my feelings saying that you changed something that made it better.
Well, these guitars are mod anyway. That's
right.
The whole nature of the guitar is it's a modded guitar. It's a hot rodded guitar. It is
absolutely.
So, not doing something to it is actually wrong. But now I've got a bigger problem. I've got this really badass humbucker that I took out of my hot potato, and now I've got to figure out what guitar it's going to go into, because I'm going to put it in something, because it's a great pickup. It's around I think a 15K.
Yeah, I think it's 14.
Kind of 14, 15K.
Yeah.
But there's I'm really loving. I'm going to give a shout out to FU Tone, the hard work going on the build that Neil's doing that you're doing for me in the chat.
Yep.
It's all FU Tone. Yep. Everything that goes in the guitar will be. It'll be the nicest build we've ever done to date. Period.
Yeah.
Period. We're going to all the stops are pulled on this one.
Yeah.
It's a special guitar, so yeah. And you're gonna relic the hell out of it, dude.
Oh man, The Walking Dead is gonna meet your guitar.
Yeah. And the headstock is gonna be painted just like the body.
Yeah.
And it'll be relicked. So and that's kind of something that's unique.
Yes,
to the build.
absolutely.
Me and Tony were talking about that. Tony loves it when the headstock is painted on a guitar to match the body. He and I, that's something we share.
Yep.
And it's gonna be fun, bro. A lot of fun.
Speaking of which, hey Tony, how do you feel about maybe next Wednesday me showing you a little of the Purple Stripe guitar?
Ooh,
Ready for it.
I can't see that being a problem. I think you'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I certainly would. Yep.
Nice. They still haven't got the answer yet, Neil, by the way.
I know. Well, okay. While people are still digging there, real quick, for those of you following the chat, Tony and I decided to work on the purple stripe pacer guitar, and we decided this quite a long time ago. And it's I apologize because we've been hinting at a big reveal for this guitar for a long time, and there's been a number of hiccups along the way, and it's because, as I've talked about previously, first I thought I would just use actual electrical tape the way Eddie did, and then kind of clear coat that, and that didn't work because the tape shrinks and moves over time, so that moved. And then we figured out ways to do different things with different paint, but then it was the problem that I've discovered when doing this guitar is we're talking about 5 layers of paint. There's purple, white, red, not red, orange, blue, yellow, and then white again, all on this. So if you keep rewrapping the guitar with tape every time you add another layer, you're going to end up with 5 layers of stripes over certain parts of the guitar, so you'll never have a flat finish to it. So this has been a problem for me, and I've started and stopped a bunch of times and sanded it all back down to 0 every time I've figured out there isn't a way to do this. Well, as of about 3 weeks ago,
That's your winner right there.
we got someone.
That's it.
Nice. Let me just
Go
wrap
ahead,
the story
Neil.
really up. Let's just wrap this up really quick. Well, the reason I haven't talked about this is because this has been the bane of my existence for a while. I want this guitar to be perfect, and I know that there's got to be a way that I'm just not thinking of. There's got to be a way to make all these tape lines flat, even though there's 5 layers of paint on top of each other. And I couldn't figure out how to do it until about 3 weeks ago. I discovered a new technique that I'm not going to talk about yet until I reveal it, because I want to make sure it works first. But
Yeah.
I figured out an order to what the colors need to do and what lines need to be done first in order to get it as flat as possible, so that you can do a layer of clear coat over it and flatten it all out, and you'll never feel tape lines. I think I got it. And next week, hopefully, if all goes well, then we'll be able to talk about it then. But that's been the big delay, and I know Tony has waited patiently and talked about it on the show. We came up with this idea in March, and I apologize that it's taken so long. But this guitar, because you're my friend, I want this to be perfect, and I think we're finally there. I think we're finally on the path. So to Tony, I'll say this to you as my friend, and I'll say this to everybody in the chat that's been waiting, including Charles and stuff. I apologize that it's taken so long, but the wait is going to be worth it, and I'll leave it at that.
I have mentioned, Tony and I, it's come up once or twice, and
I'm sure it has. Yeah.
the thing that continuously comes out of my mouth, and Tony will contest to this right here, you ain't going to turn out a bunch of bullshit. You're not going to give him something that's not perfect, and if you're not happy, you're not happy. And
Amen.
so that's
on,
something that I personally do appreciate about what you do.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Neil.
No, and Tony, thank you for your patience. I appreciate that. But, as friends, you guys hype my guitars up all the time. So I can't give you something that I wouldn't play myself. I can't.
Yeah, but I talk about you behind your back when you're not there. So don't worry about it. We're even, me and you, bro. We're even.
So let me give the kids, while we were talking, we had a winner, Gretch Zeppelin. Email me your stuff, bro. I'll mail you.
Gretch, dude.
Right on.
Dude,
full balance
pull that out of a hat,
Kick
bro.
Kick ass.
Oh, my goodness.
You did it, dude.
Congrats, man.
Yep.
Congrats,
man.
bro. Very cool, man. Couldn't happen to
So,
everybody in the chat. Bro.
What they did, what happened is while they were down there, they would wander into these little villages and these open air markets, and they would buy supplies until the next little village on the map. So the labeling on a lot of the stuff was in Portuguese, so that what they thought they were buying spam cans. So Big Ed Anderson. So Dave said that Big Ed's making what they thought were Spam omelets that were top shelf every morning.
Dwight Bailey said potted meat and crackers. One of the first answers he had way back in the beginning of this. It looked like potted meat. It came out, it was dog food in a can, man.
I saw
Oh, that's
cat
crazy.
food in there as an answer.
That is awesome.
I saw spam in there, but that's what they thought they were buying cans of spam, but they were buying cans of dog food and making omelets and so.
Oh, Adam. Oh, poor you. I got the world's tiniest violin for you, bro. Adam
Right
got
there,
sunburned.
brother.
Adam, yeah, exactly.
Oh, Adam, you poor thing. I want photographs, though. I'm living my vacation through you, brother. I want the photographs, man. All you
Bent
see
Tom was when I said somebody's close, it was Bent Tom. Yeah.
That's
But
good
that
stuff,
was
dude.
before I saw cat food as an answer. That was a good
Awesome.
answer too.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Brett Zeppelin
Wow.
is our winner for tonight. It
You're
took you
welcome.
guys
That's
a while.
awesome,
There
man.
were a lot of
No, that's
answers
good. That's a
tonight.
credit to Tony's questions. And folks, be prepared for the next 4 weeks of December. They're going to get just as hard.
Yeah, they are. We'll show that before we go. But dude, here's what I want to talk about. So a couple of days ago, we got news of a big tour announcement. Metallica, the M72 World Tour No Repeat Weekend. So Metallica's playing 2 nights. They'll do 2 different set lists. They'll have 2 different opening acts for each night, so you can buy your seats accordingly. But the opening acts are Architects, Mammoth WVH, Five Finger Death Punch, Ice Nine Kills, Pantera, Greta Van Fleet, Volbeat, and they'll be paired up. And these dates that you see, they run all the way to 2024, late 2024. So, but I think it's kind of cool that they're doing 2 nights in each city. You get to buy your seats. If you just want to go one night, you buy according to the opening acts that you like.
Yep.
I think that's awesome.
I really wish there were some other dates on that. They were a little closer to us, Tony. And because there's not, and because there's no way in hell that we're going to miss this tour, because I don't want to see Wolfgang after the fact. He'll come back around. I guarantee you this. Wolfgang's going to come back around after that tour.
Oh, yeah.
We can see him. I don't know why in hell we're going to wait that long. That guy right there, not a chance, you guys. So can I share it with him, Tony, what we were talking about? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. One of those shows. Put that back up there again, Tony. I don't want to get the name wrong, if you would. It's up there. Yeah, there we go. It's a place called Foxborough, Massachusetts. It's kind of close to Brendan up there. What we really should do is go ahead and buy our tickets for it. We can fly up if you want. We can drive up if you want. Probably fly up would be a little more convenient and easier. And we can go ahead and see that show. I think we should do that and cast it in stone.
Well, here's the thing. Let's now bear in mind that next spring our brother Keith Campbell is moving to North Carolina. So there's a lot of shows in our future. Him included.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Oh yeah, that's right. When we talked about that, we were talking about dragging Keith with us.
Yeah.
That's right. My bad, Keith. I did not mean to leave you out, brother. I'm so sorry. This is Keith. Tony and I are planning on doing this all together. We just hadn't said anything to Keith yet. So There you go, Keith.
He'll be a couple hours away from me, but he'll be really close to you, Charles.
He's 45 minutes. He's within an hour.
Oh man, no
He's
way.
within 1 hour because it's a lot of traffic between where he and I would go. So it's going to take an hour to get to him. But that's nothing.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
But yeah, we are definitely looking. Wolf, if you're watching, dude, please come back to North Carolina.
Yeah, Wolf, please. And
Yeah.
I hate to be a stickler, but I remember him actually promising when they canceled out those shows that they would make them the first shows to come back and see. So not to put any pressure on Wolfgang or anything,
Yeah, no
I just want to
pressure,
mention
dude.
that
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
he
just
promised
when
to
you're
come back
nearby.
here. But hell, we're willing to travel halfway across the country to see you if that's what we have
Yeah,
to do.
if that's what we have to do.
You know what you guys are kind of describing in a weird way? It sounds like you're setting the stage for 2024 being the first annual Halenville Con instead of EVH Con. I think you're going to pick a spot, pick a random show on the tour, and tell everybody in the chat and everybody that follows the show that that's the show that we're all going to meet and we're going to spend a weekend together.
Wow.
It sounds like Halenville Con.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm still calling it, guys.
those
Wolfgang
they've
and
already
Lizzie
gone
Hale.
on sale.
I want to hear him do a duet with Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. I swear I keep saying it. It would be just as cool a song and maybe even bigger than Lita and Ozzy doing Close My Eyes.
Oh, man.
I really want that to happen. I'm going to keep speaking it till it happens. That's kind of how things work.
Now,
You know, like the way Rammstein's Tony's favorite band.
These dates, they run from spring of 2023 all the way to the end of 2024.
Yeah, that's a long tour, bro.
And I'm sure there'll be more dates added, and I'm sure that Mammoth and these other bands will be doing other stuff. Maybe Mammoth will be doing some headline shows in between North Carolina.
Maybe playing some new music from Mammoth too at the time.
That's the idea, brother.
Yeah.
That's the idea, man.
That's right around the corner too.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy in the chat, we love you, Tommy. He said, just bring our sleeping bags, man. We can crash at his place.
That'd be nice, but if we have to plan a road trip just to be able to see, man, there's no the only band that I really want to see live as a headliner is Mammoth, and I hadn't seen them yet because of all the cancellations, and then the tours after that they booked are nowhere near us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, come Wolf, please come to North Carolina, dude.
Please, man. Please.
Yeah, we're
You
waiting
said please.
on you, bro.
You said please.
Said please.
We're waiting on you. Yeah. But yeah, that Metallica tour, might have to make a road trip. Yeah. But I would say, Charles, that his new album by the time that this, I would say I'm looking for new Mammoth in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's confirmed, you know, for those people following him on his socials and stuff like that, he's confirmed that the drum tracking is done, bass lines are done. Like, he's been in the studio. He's been doing this. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to have the new album complete a year from now. That's not unrealistic.
Yeah.
No, it's not. That's not unrealistic at all.
Plus, we all know he doesn't have to schedule rehearsal time and studio time. He walks over to 5150 and plays whenever he wants. He can be recording all night long if he wants.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
If he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I can't sleep. I'm going to go lay down on this guitar lick," and he does that. I mean, for all we know, the album could be done in a month.
I bet he's got material for the next album down the road after this one.
Yeah.
He's like his father, man.
I think he is.
Do you see those Taylor Hawkins concerts? I'm just going to bring that up one more time. Ooh, who the hell expected that, man?
Yeah.
That was life-changing stuff right there. Wow.
All right, let me go ahead and mention too, so you kids playing trivia, starting next week, we're going to take the 4 winners from December 7, 14, 21, and 28, and we're going to invite you to a private backstage party on Friday night, December 30th. That's your card for the contest.
I laugh every time I see it. That is so good.
Hey, Andy Carson's taking off. Be safe. Love you, Andy. Be well,
See
brother.
you, Andy.
Yeah, right on, brother.
That's awesome. That is just awesome.
So you'll get the VIP treatment backstage. You'll get a bunch of stuff. We'll play trivia backstage for some really, really cool prizes.
Yeah.
And you'll get passes and picks and koozies and all kind. We'll have special guests backstage at this party.
Yep.
Can't tell you who that is. And we're going to invite you 4 back to be on the panel, be on the show if you want to, on New Year's Eve, on Fruitcake Tony's New Year's Rockin' Eve. With special guest Joe Wentz will be playing live in the first hour. But yeah, we'll march through all 4 time zones here live New Year's Eve. And the Halenville Live Lost year-end winners will join us live.
Nice.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very cool, you guys.
Yeah.
So between 2 parties in 2 nights, we'll see what kind of shape we're in.
Yeah. Let's just say we don't anticipate it being like a Hallmark Christmas movie, okay?
There's not a chance that's going to happen.
Not a chance.
No, not in the cards.
No.
Neil, I love it when you come on here. I don't see enough of you, dude.
I know. I missed you guys, man. This is a lot of fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. We apologize for not having our special guest with us tonight.
Yeah. We hope we were able to entertain you all.
Yes. On the fly, no problem, but it's always nice to see you guys. But a lot to talk about still. But yeah. Miss Simon.
And we hope, Simon, you're okay and everything. You know, we love you, brother.
Yeah. We don't want to. Yeah. Obviously, we don't want to make light of a situation.
No,
whatever.
No, not at all. We don't know what's going on. So
we have no idea. Yeah. So when Simon is ready and hopefully everything's fine, he'll join us when he can.
Yeah.
We'll squeeze him in whenever he wants to come back. So we apologize. But for those of you that tuned in for him, our apologies.
Rock and roll ain't easy, you guys. It's all good, man.
Nope.
I know. That's the way it goes sometimes, but still, it's nice to see you guys.
Just like Axl Rose deciding he's not going to come out on stage because he doesn't like the scarf. He has.
Right. Let me give you guys a little heads up of what's going on this weekend on Show Me Your Pick. The guy that makes us our guitar picks.
Yes.
Greg is gonna join us this Saturday on Show Me Your Pick as we talk about Kansas.
That'd be so great. What a great band, man.
Yeah.
What a great flipping band.
Yes. So
them
we
in Boston really changed the sound of music
Yeah.
because of their organ, that
Yep.
Hammond B3
Yes.
organ mainly, and just the power, the energy of it was just a game changer. Fortunate enough to see them a few times. Can't wait to talk about it. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Greg hadn't joined us in about a year, and we've been trying to get him back on the schedule, and you'll see Greg this Saturday,
Oh, kick ass,
Can't wait
man.
to see Greg.
December
He's awesome.
3rd.
Greg's a great
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
I love talking picks with
That's
Greg.
this Saturday.
That's really going to be fun. Hey, Shane T. Neal in the chat. Welcome to Halenville.
Hey,
Welcome to
dude.
Halenville, man.
Sweet, man.
Let's go. So you guys, Greg's links are down below. They're always in the description. Neil's links are down below too if you want to get a hold of Neil. His links you can always find them here. Brendan B Squared makes these cool cigar box guitars. His links are in the description. Yeah.
Yep, and he's also putting us all up at the Massachusetts show we talked about. So
Yeah.
That's how I heard it.
Everybody from Halenville is going to Brendan's house.
That's how I heard it.
We're coming, dude. We are coming. But yeah, let's see here. All right. Well, yeah, we apologize that we couldn't have Simon here with us tonight. But yeah, we'll catch up with Simon soon.
Oh, yeah. He's been on tour for his last several months. He's got stories and stories and stories, and we cannot wait to hear his stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely cool.
Yeah.
Yep, and then we'll have to catch up with Adam Roach and hear about how his suntan is going.
I know.
If he's
In the
still out
summer.
there, I
Those
don't know.
stories just don't get old, do they?
No,
Jeez,
no.
man.
Yeah,
Christmas
looks like he might be
time in the summer. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
It'll
our
be
ice
here
cream man.
soon. Tomorrow's December.
Oh my God, I know. I cannot believe that tomorrow's December already. Oh,
I'm still hanging on to Halloween. I don't care.
yes. You and me both, brother. You and me both.
I'm thinking about next year, Neil.
I've got a number of ideas lined up. You know, my usual plan, I usually have my costumes list for the next year nailed down to 10 by January 1st. You know, I always want to start the new year having my list narrowed down to 10, and then throughout the course of the year I'll check it down and everything. But right now, boy, I've had a lot of really good ideas come up lately that it's going to be hard for me to get down to 10 in the next month.
Have you ever done the killer clown costume?
No, haven't done a clown.
Interesting. I thought about
Well,
that.
I take that back. I've done various versions of the Joker multiple times, but
okay.
not a
Well, that would be a killer clown, technically. A pretty brutal killer clown, actually.
Yeah.
But the traditional, I don't know. And yes, we're talking Halloween on freaking the day before December, damn it. That's how we roll.
Us. That's us. That's Halenville, folks. That's how we roll. Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about it again before Halloween. That's right, man.
Absolutely. Hey, real quick, let me give a shout out for speaking of Halloween-ish things. I had no interest whatsoever in watching the new Netflix series Wednesday, based on Wednesday Addams of the Addams family. Had no interest in it whatsoever. I never saw the movies in the 90s, and I never saw the TV show. But Alexia talked me into watching the show. She wanted to binge watch it, and I was like, all right, fine. Yeah, I knew it was a Tim Burton project, and I love everything Tim Burton does. So I was like, okay. Yeah, I thought it would look very Beetlejuice-ish kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We watched it. We binged the show. It's hysterical. It is by far one of the best Netflix shows I've seen in a long time. It's very dark. It's very dark and gothic, but it has a very dark black sense of humor that is really, really good. And the girl that plays Wednesday Addams is phenomenal. And so that's my recommendation for the week, folks. If you got nothing to do this December, stream Wednesday on Netflix. It is far funnier than I ever thought it would be.
little snippets have been coming across my feed, and I've been ignoring them like the plague because of just what you were saying. I was like, nah, please, the original, you know?
Yeah.
But that's really intriguing. I'm gonna
I honestly, I couldn't give it. I wasn't even on my radar. I had no interest in it. And by the way, when I say funny, take it with a grain of salt, because what I find funny is not Dumb and Dumber funny. I find funny, you know, it's dark comedy, black humor kind of thing like that. So there's a scene where Wednesday Addams is taking her pet scorpion out for a walk on a leash. Like those things I think are hysterical.
Yes.
And that's my kind of humor. So, you know, when you get, that's my recommendation. It's very funny.
Oh man, does the scorpion have a name?
Yes. I'm not going to say what it is. You got to watch it.
Okay. Now I got to Google it. See what I got to do now. I got to go all in. Oh, well.
Yeah. No, you do. And here's another example really quick. Just another scene. There's a scene where Wednesday fixes a Starbucks coffee maker, the steam maker thing for like lattes. And the guy's like, and the kid working the thing is like, how do you know how to do this? And she says, when I was 10 years old, I got a steam run guillotine so I could figure out a way to decapitate my dolls more efficiently. I'm like, that's my humor.
Excellent.
That's it. I get it. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Guillotine.
Yep.
Latte. I get it. I see the connection.
Yeah. At 10 years old, that's what you do.
Awesome, man. All right. That's good. Hey, it's been a good show, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. This is fun. Lots of people tuned in tonight. A lot of good people in the chat.
I love this chat. They're the greatest. They're the greatest.
All right, kids, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for watching. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe here if you're not already.
Tommy, I miss you, dude. Ben Tom he's on fire tonight. He's on fire tonight in fact, Tom has offered up his ex-wife's place as a place for us all to crash. I don't know if anybody in the chat saw that.
What a classy move, bro.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll be there. By the way, quick shout out to Brendan. You know, he'll take his wife by the hand and walk up to this frozen lake, this foot thick of ice, and walk up on the dock, and holding her hand, they will jump together and plunge into this 30-degree water for people they don't know. And I think that is just so awesome. I say it all the time. It's coming up here in a couple of months. I just want to give them a shout out. It's for Alzheimer's, and it's really, really cool. I had a similar dream. You know, he'll hold his wife by the hand and walk up to that, and together in unison, in love, they will jump into that water together. I think that's beautiful. I have sort of a similar dream, though, Neil. I have my ex-wife by the hand. We walk up the same dock, but I push her in. I turn around and walk away. Not quite the same, is it?
Yeah, no. As a matter of fact, I could probably vouch for Alexia right now. She would probably have that dream, and she'd be at the edge of the dock holding me underwater. That would be.
I love it. Now, just as a disclaimer, my ex-wife and I are very good friends, and I love her. She knows I would never do that.
Well, in all fairness, my current wife and I are friends, but she would still hold me underwater.
There you go, bro. There you go. Hey, and I heard some good news about the Hannons. Ellie's coming home.
Oh.
She's coming home, so that's really good news. I don't know that she's home yet or not, but that was the last report we heard. So that's just wonderful. I'm so glad to be able to, pass that news along, you guys. She's not completely out of the woods yet. She's still healing, but yeah, just a shout out to the Hannon family. We love you guys and we want you all to be well. Oh, she is home, Keith says. Very cool. Even better. Even better. Thanks, Keith. Awesome. Yeah, very cool.
Hey, if we didn't mention it before we go off air, Donald Young is in the chat as well, and that's a name that I haven't seen before. So, Donald, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Donald, welcome to Halenville, bro. I've seen him before a couple of times. Donald's been here before.
That's awesome. Yes, good. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, bro.
Always great to see him, man.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, we appreciate it. I love seeing you.
Win some trivia so we can meet you.
Right on, man.
Just saying.
On.
All right, kids, we're going to scat out of here. Neil, always good to see you. Charles, any last words, dude?
Hey guys, just don't forget, this is Halenville. Around here, it doesn't matter if you head north, south, east, or west. Every single road that you lead down is going to take you straight to Van Halen, you guys. Have a great weekend. Be well. Do something nice for somebody this week just for the heck of it. And rock on. Look at this. Tinker Mug, Holly Lewis. Be well, you guys. Love you. Take care.